Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Colorado Rockies rebuild franchise here on MLB The Show 24. In this episode, we're going to bring this Year 3 season to a conclusion as we enter at 12 games down in the NL West. The Dodgers have already clinched the division pretty much. I mean, unless we win out, they lose every single game. But we are here at the number 2 spot now in the wild card race. So either way, it looks like we're either going to play the Phillies or the Atlanta Braves in the postseason there in the wild card round. It really comes down to this NL East race here in the final dozen games or so, as the Braves and Phillies have already clinched playoff spots, but not the division still has to be settled. The Cubs going to pretty much clinch here the NL Central in the next couple games, whereas in the American League in the East, the Rays lead the Orioles by 1 game, a very tight race there, and the Yankees not too far back there, 4 games behind. The Twins currently in front in the AL Central, as the Kansas City Royals set for a playoff appearance. And then the Houston Astros lead the West, with the Rangers, Mariners, kind of not too far behind. So we have a tight race here in the AL wildcard. The Rangers are the only team kind of still in it. They really have the Yankees to kind of battle in this spot. Then in the NL wildcard, the Padres lead by 3 over the Marlins and Diamondbacks. So a tight race there. We'll see if the Padres can hang on. But we are just going to start this episode by simulating here. At least through this first week, we'll have Max Fried on the mound here against Bryan Woo. And we do win this one 6-5. It's been rough going here. In the last episode, we kind of focused on these series with the Los Angeles Dodgers. We had this 3-game set where we got swept. Then we won 2 games against the Angels in between. And then we got swept again from the Dodgers as they pretty much doubled their lead in the division. We didn't even get 1 out of those 6 games, but good to see us bounce back here against Seattle. 2 hits for Leonardo Rivas and Pete Alonso. Tovar got the rest today at short. He's been really struggling at the plate. Max Fried gets the win now 17-3. Ken Hughes gave up 2 earned, but that was still enough to get the save. Now we'll have Casey Mize, who we acquired at the trade deadline, on against George Kirby. And we'd fall here 8-3. Mize has really only had 1 good start since acquiring him at the trade deadline. Leonardo Rivas gets another start here playing in center. Gets a home run. I want to say that's his first career home run. We gave up 3 runs there in the top of the 9th. Mize, 6 innings, 4 earned. Feltner, 3 earned. Not a good day there. So the rubber match here will have Aaron Civale against Logan Gilbert. Civale has not pitched well since coming back from injury, although here, sporting a shutout in the 9th. And while we don't get the shutout, we do get the win 7-2. Brendan Rodgers 4 for 5 there in the leadoff spot. 2 hits for Santander, Alonso Jansen, Yanquiel Fernandez, and Tovar. Rodgers and Alonso with home runs. Civale went 8, and TJ Antone, the last inning of work there. So now we are 91-62. A AAA injury there. Juan Ayala has come off the IL, so some moves to make there. Now we have a set here against Kansas City, as they are vying for the AL Central crown there. Jack Flaherty on the bump against Brady Singer. 3-2 here in the bottom of the 8th. Simulate to the end. Feltner sustains an injury, and we fall there 4-2. Nolan Jones 2 hits. 2 hits for Santander. 3 for 4 was Danny Jansen. Jack Flaherty 2 earned in 6. Taj Bradley 1 earned in 2. And now we have Freeland on the mound against Asa Lacy. And we fall here 5-1. So we have really sputtered here, post All-Star break this last month or two. In this season, only 5 hits combined. Freeland has not really pitched well here down the stretch. And the Dodgers obviously have run away with the division. And now it looks like the Phillies and Braves tied up here in the final games. And actually our AAA team looks like they're set for the postseason. Our AA team missed it, even though they were 78-60. Unless it just starts a little bit later. But we'll simulate this last game and then kind of reassess everything. We have Max Fried against Zach Gallen, who signed there in Kansas City along with Corbin Burns. So their rotation, one of the best there in the American League. 4-0 game here, 7 2/3 for Max Fried, although 2 runners in scoring position here, top of the 8th. And the Royals came back to win that one. We are just not playing good baseball. So our Isotopes have won their division and will be in the postseason. Okay, the Yard Goats have made the postseason as well. So both of our minor league teams have made the playoffs for the first time in this franchise. And with that being said, we'll go down the line here and just recap our stats here from our AAA and AA players. Just really talk about the players who maybe have a future. So Heriberto Hernandez led the team in at-bats at 500 even, already 26 years old. And he does have some good secondary positions there with catcher and first base. I said it last episode maybe. He's played a very good first base there in AAA. Good power. Although the slugging is just at 414. I'll actually just go by category here. So he did lead in hits, leading in at-bats without average. So David Castilla, the 4th-ranked prospect in all of baseball, saw a very good progression here this season. Going to be a very good contact hitter, going to get on base. The power is going to take a little bit to come around, but like the speed and stealing ability, not the best glove, but he's hitting 349 in AAA. Recently called him up with a slugging just under 500, the OBP at 400, OPS just under 900. So Castilla may be a future batting champion, and we got him in the 2nd round in last year's draft. Ronald Cabrera was drafted with our last round pick in year 1. And, just the deep potential. He did get some at-bats last year. We just had a very thin situation at catcher. Batted .288 in just over 50 at-bats. Got on base. And here in AAA, hitting .307. We have had him in a leadoff spot there. Gets on base as well, but probably not a future for him at the big league level. Hunter Goodman spent time between AAA and AA. Good progression across the board. Good fielding already with secondary position of catcher and the corner outfielder spots. 4 home runs and just 150 at-bats, but 400 slugging. Benny Montgomery missed a lot of time last year. I think missed some time due to injury this season, but you love the speed, the glove, the arm out there in center, and the hitting traits are coming around a little bit. +4 in each contact category, +5 in power. So maybe someone who bids for a platoon outfielder role next year. I'm thinking that we're gonna move on from Joe Adell. So I think Montgomery brings a better glove, and he's more of more development left for him, especially with that 84 speed. Hits lefties pretty well. Already talked about Hernandez. Alex Parra led the AAA club with 24 home runs at just 19 years old, the 7th overall pick from the 2025 MLB draft. We picked him in that year, in the year 2 draft here in this franchise. Very good already against lefties. You love that +6 in power versus righties. Never going to really have that good of a glove at the hot corner, but you like that strong arm. Hit .262, slugged .467. With those 24 home runs. I thought about calling him up for September call-ups, but I figured we'd just keep him down there in AAA. Don't want to rush it, but come spring training, maybe he battles for a roster spot. Grant Levine just suffered an injury, spent most of the time in AA, 26 years old. Joshua Baez acquired him from St. Louis last year in that Cal Quantrill trade. Already a very good arm, good glove, good speed. The bat is coming around a little bit. Hit .248, a little bit up and down, but you like that 11 home runs, as that was 3rd on the team here in AAA. Zach Veen, 73 overall B potential. He's on a tear right now in AAA, although he had a very up and down season. Only .233 batting average, OBP under 300, slugging at just .364. And he is seeing a little regression for versus righties. He's a better hitter versus lefties, which is, you don't really see that from a lefty batter. But someone we might trade in the offseason after selecting a left-handed right fielder in this past draft, who we don't see quite yet, Franklin Delaney. He's going to be a very good player for us. We'll be able to view him once the offseason rolls around. Warming Bernabel, he'll play any base, first base, second base, third base. Good progression across the board. Decent hitting season there in AAA. Really anyone else? Jordan Beck, very disappointing season. Just 190 batting average, 250 OBP, slugging at 294. Although he is still progressing, which you like to see. 24 years old, B potential. A very similar skill set to the aforementioned Zach Veen, both right fielders. So one of them, I think we're going to look to trade this offseason. Cameron Colley more, in there for his glove. Already could be a MLB level utility man with that glove, that speed. The bat is coming around a little bit though, although batted under 200 here. And I'll go over to pitching. Senzatella, we would just love to shed his $10 million contract, but unfortunately we have to eat that for at least one more season. Ryan Rollison, a little bit older and has yet to make his MLB debut, so I think we might move on from him this offseason. Michael Yamashita, selected him 3rd overall in the year 1 draft of this franchise. Going to be a potential ace for us down the road. Very good numbers here in AAA at 2.87 ERA, a 103 whip with 20 quality starts. Has a complete game shutout in there with a 5.8 WAR. He brings that 5-pitch mix and very good traits across the board. Good progression as that walks per 9 already into the 70s. Although we would love that hits per 9 and Ks per 9 to bump up a little bit. Juan Ayala was another pitcher we selected in that year 1 draft. He actually just got hurt or just came back from injury very good stuff with that 89 velocity, 80 break, although you want the rest of the categories to kind of go up, which they are, seeing good progression across the board. So we have him at 23 years old, high B potential, 72 overall, and a very similar potential overall case here with Yamashita. So two potential, top of the rotation type guys in Yamashita and Juan Ayala. Jordan Quinones we acquired in that Cal Quantrill trade with Joshua Baez last season. Very good progression across the board, although he filled in as our closer. 50 out of 57 was very good in the early goings, but it looks like he has blown a few saves here down the stretch, but still a good season there for the lefty, who might be up in the bigs within the next season or two. Alfonso Campaneris, he was 15-1 in Double-A, and we give him the call up to Triple-A. Now 3-0, 1.71 ERA, 1.10 WHIP, just absolute dominant, between both levels. Obviously, this one a smaller sample size, but he's showing that he belongs in Triple-A. Another pitcher we selected in that draft, along with Ayala and Yamashita. Another one here, Herb Lopez, another high B potential type guy, although he is a lefty like Campaneris. Very high velocity break, +6 hits per 9, +5 walks per 9. He's coming around fairly well. 2-2 in 5 starts with a 2.27 ERA, 1.17 WHIP, and 4 of those 5 starts quality starts. So our pitching, our youth pitching here in the organization, looking very, very good. Mitch Bratt, another lefty here out of the pen, though. +7 hits per 9, +5 home runs per 9, 1.47 ERA, a .93 WHIP, in 61 and a third. We brought him over from Texas, along with Cameron Colley in year 1. I forget who we sent over, though. I think it might have been Daniel Bard and another player. Ricky Raymond we got from Los Angeles last year. Very good case per 9, although we would like that walks per 9 to bump up a little bit. .79 ERA and 11 and a third. Another guy who we called up a little bit late here to AAA. And our AAA team, as we said, did make the playoffs. We'll kind of run through that a little bit in this episode as we wrap up this year 3 regular season. Now down in AA, where we don't have as many notable names. Ken Ramirez, we touched on last episode. We almost included him in the trade for Casey Mize, but opted to keep him and sent someone else instead, as we do really like his potential as a maybe backup catcher. Very good contact, already high up there, especially against righties. A very strong arm there at the backstop, although not the best glove, but you like he's going up +4 there in fielding. Hit .282 with a .359 OBP this season. 6 home runs, a very good season there for the young 18-year-old catcher who we selected in last year's draft. Anyone else? Luis Castro we also selected in that draft. Decent power already against righties. Good arm, good speed. The glove, you want to come around a little bit more. The numbers not that great, but just 19 years old. B potential. You like the ceiling, although he does need to grow a little bit. And then here's Tom Park, the top prospect in all of baseball. We picked him in the 3rd or 4th round last year, and he debuted as the number 1 prospect. A future Gold Glover potentially, already there at 79 with very good speed, steals bases very, very well. And all the offensive categories pretty much +4. Is going to hit righties, obviously better than lefties, batting .273, 9 doubles, 3 triples, no home runs though, and he's 8 out of 10 stealing bases. Maybe we'll check him out in a postseason game in this episode if we have time. Robert Marmolejo, an A potential, also in that same draft with Tom Park and the aforementioned Alex Parra and David Castilla. So we've been drafting very, very well. Marmolejo here, an A potential, already at 57 overall. It's going to take him a little bit more time, but once he gets there, he'll be a very good player. Going to be a high contact guy with a good glove, decent speed, although the power and the arm going to have to come around a little bit. Batting .314, .514 slugging in just 35 at-bats. He was recently called up along here with Muhammad Huffman, a long-term project, another player we drafted in that draft. I want to say he might have been year 1. Oh, no, he was definitely year 2, only at 18 years old. So this is his first season in the system. Going to be a very good fielder with a strong arm at first base and the hot corner. And hopefully that bat can come around a little bit as well. Move over to pitchers. Jose Vera, another guy from that year 1 draft where you just, hit on pretty much every pitcher we selected. 13-7, 2.45 ERA, 1.10 WHIP, 4.7 WAR with 2 complete game shutouts. Walks per 9, very good, although the velocity and break, not even really average combined. So not going to, set the world on fire with his stuff, but he's not going to walk batters and hopefully be a good pitch to contact type guy. Rudy Smith, another pitcher from that draft, and he's the highest potential of them all. And he's seeing very good progression, already up to a 65. So I want to say he went up at least like 5 or 6 overall points this season. +6 there, walks per 9, +4 there, and in hits and Ks per 9. 10-7, 2.92 ERA, 1.13 WHIP, 15 quality starts, a good WAR. And those are pretty much the notable pitchers. Any other categories we want to look at? I mean, WAR, it's Jose Vera at 4.7. Ks per 9. We have a few relievers here. Maybe Kyle Wilcox, probably the only guy. I was going to say maybe the only guy who's going to make it, but probably not at just D potential. 58 years old. I'm sorry, 58 overall, already 31 years old. Jaden Hill, way too many walks. Home runs per 9. These guys kept it in the ballpark. Jose Vera at just .57. Very good from him. Go back to AAA, just check out some of these categories. Michael Yamashita ran away with WAR. Rolison not too far behind, though, at 4. Senzatella there at 3.7. Ks per 9. Riley Pint led the way, although he came out neutral there for WAR. Walks per 9. These guys kind of a lot. Home runs per 9. Herb Lopez only allowed a .28 in just 31.2 innings. So what is that, 1, maybe 2 home runs? Mitch Bratt, .29 home runs allowed in 61 1/3. That is absolutely very good. Only 2 home runs in 61 1/3. Very good numbers there. Quinones at less than a half a home run allowed per 9. And Yamashita, a very good number there as well. So those are our minor leaguers. It looks very promising, going ahead to the future. I do want to make sure we have the right rotation here. Yamashita has to start game 1, but I want to make sure their stamina is all good as well. So we got to simulate through this day. And in here in AAA, they are set for the playoffs. I just want to make sure, okay, everyone is at full stamina. I didn't know if it was going to carry over from the regular season. So Yamashita, of course, we want to start game 1. I think Rolison will put at game 2. And in between Ayala and Campaneris, we'll give Ayala game 3, coming back from injury. We have all these long relief spots. What about our AA? Our AA rotation not as strong. I think we want Jose Vera there for game 1. Rudy Smith for game 2. Juarez for game 3. And then Jaden Hill game 4. I think we'll quick manage those. So we actually just 1 game here against Las Vegas. So yeah, let's quick manage this game with Michael Yamashita, the top pitching prospect in our organization. And we'll leave this lineup as it is. Actually, we'll put Hernandez at first. We'll put Bernabel at third, and then Parra at DH. We're going to skip these. They want us to get everyone in there who's been on the bench. No, we're not doing that. Not in the postseason. So Yamashita on the bump. Marcus Casto, one of the top prospects in the Oakland Athletics organization. And Yamashita gets a 1-2-3 inning. Jacob Miller on the mound for Las Vegas. David Castilla, 1-out single. And then nothing doing after that. An error as Andujar reaches on the error, but Yamashita still gets out of it. And a 1-2-3 inning for our Isotopes. First hit allowed there to Ballesteros. Another single, so runners on the corners, just 1 out. Stolen base. And it's going to be a single for Thomas to drive in the game's first run. Sac fly now 2-0. Another error. I wonder who's committing these errors. And then Yamashita gets a strikeout. So we trail here 2-0. And then we go down 1-2-3. A leadoff single. And then an RBI double. So Yamashita has just not been bringing it here today so far. And we go, well, first 2 batters go down a 2-out walk to Hernandez and then a line out. So if Yamashita, gets banged up here, we'll take him out, but he gets a 1-2-3 inning. A leadoff single there from Montgomery, so we'll go hit and run. A fly out. Baez walks, so 2 men on for Kyle Datris. He strikes out. Now Ronald Cabrera, a 2-run double. As Cabrera now on second, Castilla walks. So here's Alex Parra, our top slugger, and he strikes out. Now top of the 6th, a 3-2 ball game. And another clean inning there from Yamashita. A leadoff walk for Hernandez as they bring in a new pitcher. Strikeout single, so 1 away, 2 men on for Bernabel, and he walks. Now the base is loaded for Joshua Baez, a sac fly to tie it. And now here's Datris on, and he strikes out. So I think it might be time to go to the bullpen here. We'll go with Riley Pint. An error, another error. Who is... We got to look up who's getting all these errors. Although we do get a caught stealing a ground out and a strikeout. So we do get out of that one. Now, bottom of the 7th. Go a hit and run here with Castilla. And Cabrera gets the stolen base at 44 speed. He's now in scoring position. 2 ground outs. He doesn't advance at all. A single gets him to third. And then Zach Bean flies out. So we strand a man there on second with no outs. A 1-2-3 inning from Riley Pint. And then 2 strikeouts to start. Baez gets a walk. Now Datris back up. And he flies out. So now the top of the 9th. A line out. Should we leave Pint out there for a third inning? He got the leadoff out, but maybe should we go lefty here? I think we'll just go to the lefty with Mitch Bratt. Oh, a 2-out single and then a ground out. So bottom of the 9th, a run does win the ball game. Leadoff single from Cabrera. Should we do a pinch runner? 85 speed from Cawley. I think we'll do a pinch runner, then go hit and run here with Castilla. Very good contact hitter. Although he flies out. Now Alex Parra flies out. And Hernandez pops up. So all that for naught. We have to throw in our backup catcher here. And William McIver. And we're now into extra innings. Another error. What is going on? 4 errors in this game. 2 strikeouts, though. Good counter from Mitch Bratt. And another strikeout. So 3 strikeouts after the error. Runners on the corners. And Mitch Bratt gets out of it. Now, Zach Venon grounds out. Benny Montgomery grounds out. And Bernabel strikes out. So we strand the runner on second. Nothing doing there. Now top of 11. A stolen base, although we get an out. Strikeout and then strikeout. Mitch Bratt doing tremendous work out of the pen. Joshua Baez 0 for 1 with like 2 or 3 walks to this point. He strikes out. Datris is 0 for 4. I think we might have to get a pinch hitter, but we don't have anyone who can play short, so we got to leave him in after we pinch ran for Cawley. He pops up. Now here's William McIver, his first at-bat, and he grounds out. Now into the 12th inning. Fly out, strikeout. Mitch Bratt is killing it. Castillo walks. Alex Parra now 0 for 5. He strikes out. Here's Heriberto Hernandez. He strikes out. Zach Veen, fielder's choice. Just nobody wants to win this baseball game. A single there to Casto. And I think it might be time. I mean, Bratt has been dominant. Stolen base, sack fly. And I think we will go to the bullpen here. 4-3. Finally, in the 4th extra frame, a team gets a run on the board. Who should we go with here? I guess Adam Kloffenstein. Another error, the 5th error of the game, as we have just unraveled here, as it's now 6-3. Ricky Raymond strikeout, then ground out. So we need 3 runs here in the bottom of the 13th. Derek Patrick on for the save. And again, we cannot advance the runner even from second to third, as we have been eliminated in that 1-game playoff. Tough break there. We just did not get good production from really anyone. Cabrera was 3 for 5. And Joshua Baez had 2 walks, I guess a sac fly. Michael Yamashita 6 innings. Mitch Bratt 4 innings, just 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. 7 out of those 12 outs for strikeouts. And Adam Kloffenstein did not record an out, gave up a couple hits. And that's going to do it for our AAA team. Thanks for trying, as we'll keep getting on along here in the MLB season. So 6 more games, as the Padres have pretty much clinched that last wild card spot. Casey Mize here sporting a shutout into the 8th. Although we don't get the shutout, we do win 5-1. Rodgers and McMahon each with a home run. Mize 7 1/3 gets a win, his 2nd as a Rocky, and John Curtis a 5-out save. Now we have Aaron Savali on against Brandon Pafat, as we lose 12-5. 2 hits for Santander, Tovar Robert with home runs. This might be the 2nd or 3rd outing for Savali since he's come back from injury, where he didn't even make it past the 3rd inning. 5 earned for him. Feltner 4 earned. 6 hits allowed by Taj Bradley. 2 earned from Soto. And our pitching has really not been that great here down the stretch. Now the rubber match will have Flaherty against Nestor Cortez. 3-2 ball game here in the top of the 8th. And we do come back to win 7-6. You like to see that. 2 hits there for Robert, Alonso, Santander, and Tovar. Pete Alonso had 2 home runs. We'll see if he's still vying for an MVP award. Jack Flaherty 5 innings. And Ken Hughes gets his 47th save, as we're now into the final 3 games here. So we'll take one more look at the playoff picture. And it looks like the Phillies are going to take the NL East, although there's still 3 more games left to play. Let's see who they play each. The Phillies have Cleveland, and Atlanta has Chicago, so a little bit tougher for the Braves in that final series. Going over to Double-A real quick. So here at best of 5, I think we'll quick manage this. We'll send another game there for Double-A and then maybe quick manage a game. But the last 3 here. So the Cubs, of course, clinched there in the Central about the American League. The Orioles clinched there, although the Rays absolutely fell off. They lost 3 out of their last 10. They were leading the AL East when we started this episode and have since fallen behind the Orioles and the Yankees. Although they still do lead for that final wild card spot, but the Rangers not officially eliminated. So we'll simulate this day. We have Kyle Freeland on against Joe Musgrove. And we do trail 8-2. Freeland has not been good here down the stretch. Rivas with a double. Yanquiel Fernandez a home run. 4 earned for Freeland. 4 earned. Why do they keep putting Feltner out there? I do not understand that one bit. He's last on our long relief, spot here. But they keep throwing him in over Lambert, over Bradley. I do not understand that at all. So let's see what Double-A did. We lost here 2-1, so our Double-A season comes down to 1 more game. And I think we actually, I was going to say jump into a player lock game with Tom Park, but we'll simulate the last day. And if we go to a game 5, we will simulate that. So we'll have Max Fried on his last start of the regular season on against Matt Waldron, who's 9-2 for the Padres. And we lose 10-1, and our Double-A team gets eliminated as well. We'll see our batting stats real quick. 313 for Dion Jorge, 455 for Ken Ramirez with a home run, 6 RBIs in 11 at-bats. Tom Park batted 455. Marmolejo batted 333, but otherwise nothing of note. So both of our minor league teams get outed in their first series. Hopefully we have different luck here with our Rockies as we're now set for our final game in this Year 3 regular season as we sit at 93-68. And I'm almost positive we're going to face now the Braves in that wild card round, which is very unfortunate. As you see there, top right team rankings, they're currently number 1 in the entire league. So we'll see if we can do well against them. The Phillies have clinched the National League East. So I think the Phillies and Dodgers get a bye, and it'll be the Cubs against the Padres and the Braves against the Rockies there in that wild card round over in the American League. The Yankees and Rays both get wild card spots. So I think they're going to face so the Royals and Yankees will face each other in that wild card round. The Rays will go up against Houston as the Twins and Orioles get byes. So the playoff picture pretty much has come to fruition. We'll go ahead and simulate this last game as we fall 6-5 as our regular season has come to an end. 3 hits for Rodgers, 3 for Santander. Luis Robert Jr. had a home run. Mize 4 earned in 5 2/3. And Ken Hughes looks like he got the blown save. Or maybe not the blown save. He got the loss, though. As Antone, Barlow, Soto, Gilbreth all had a hold. They all put together scoreless outings. As we are set for the Atlanta Braves in the first round of the playoff. And there we get a look at the bracket. Minnesota, Baltimore get byes. The Royals against the Yankees. Houston against Tampa Bay. Atlanta against our Rockies. And the Cubs against the Padres. As the Dodgers and Phillies get first round byes. And I think now we can kind of go ahead, look at the league leaders. MLB league leaders, Pete Alonso led in home runs with 52. Juan Soto now back with the Padres for his second season since signing with them in that year 1 offseason. He bats .340, wins the batting title here in the National League. Yordan Alvarez wins it in the American League, batting .329. Soto 209 hits. Marte 205, Ohtani 203. No one over 200 in the American League, although Bo Bichette led the way. Doubles, Ohtani had 63 doubles. Only 26 home runs, by far a career low for him. Well, I guess not really going back to those first 3 years, but he wasn't a full-time player. It looks like never over 400 at-bats. One of those a COVID year. 26 home runs, but 63 doubles. That is absolutely absurd. 53 for Gunnar Henderson, led the American League. Corbin Carroll with 16 triples, led the National League. Gunnar Henderson led the American League in doubles and triples. I wonder the last player to ever do that. Corey Seager with 59 home runs. So he led all of baseball with 59 home runs. Absurd power year for him. Still 5 more years on this pretty much max contract, as he's now over 300 career home runs and just under a 300 career hitter to this point. Aaron Judge 52, Willy Adames with 43, Adley Rutschman with 36. 1 more year of arbitration, and then I'm really hoping we can make a max push at Rutschman in that 2028 offseason. That would be instrumental for this team. Alonso led the National League with 52 home runs. His main competition for the MVP award was Juan Soto and Austin Riley. And comparing the numbers, I mean, Alonso has better numbers than Riley, but I don't know. Juan Soto might take it, as his Padres were able to sneak there into the postseason. RBI, Seager led in the American League with 146. Soto with 144 in the National League. Santander had more than Alonso, so Santander for the second straight year led our team in RBIs. 116 last year, 117 this year. And both of these guys, Santander and Alonso, player options this coming offseason. Freddie Freeman, 129 runs, 113 for Seager. Stolen bases goes to C.J. Abrams with 44. Trey Turner just 1 behind him in the American League. Elly De La Cruz now on the Angels. I forget exactly what that trade entailed, but he was traded to the Angels this past offseason. Josh Lowe with 40, along there with Bobby Witt Jr. Walks goes to Soto. In the American League, J.P. Crawford led in walks. On base to Soto. Bryce Harper, also over 400 in the American League. Alvarez. So Alvarez led in average and on base. Yandy Diaz behind him. Judge and Carter, both over 400 there in OBP as well. Slugging goes to Soto. Acuna Jr. and Alonso also at 600 or better. Seager led the entire league at 669. Judge 649. OPS, Soto and Acuna both over 1,000. Soto, I would think he's the MVP. 4 guys over 1,000 here in the American League. Seager and his teammate Evan Carter, so 2 lefty bats there for the Rangers, just dominating. Although I think they did miss the postseason. Judge and Alvarez also in there. And now we get to pitching. Bobby Miller and Tyler Glasnow here combined for 43 wins. Just between them, they almost have more wins than the entire White Sox team did this year. Zach Wheeler also 20 wins. Max Fried led our team 17 wins as he matches his total from the last 2 seasons. And he's going to start Game 1 against his former team in this upcoming playoff wildcard round against Atlanta. In the American League, Bailey Ober led with 20 wins. 1 more year of arbitration. Chris Paddock also up there. So we have 3 twins here in the top 4. Pablo Lopez also there, and Corbin Burns. So the AL Central really making their stance here with their pitching. Saves goes to Evan Phillips as Ken Hughes kind of falls apart there down the stretch, but still very good progression for him. Our rookie closer went 47 out of 54 in his first full season. 2.62 ERA, a .96 WHIP. 64 strikeouts in just 58 innings. A first-year All-Star at just 23 years old. Probably going to lock him up long-term this coming offseason. In the American League, Felix Bautista, 52 out of 57. Albert Alzolay, also over 50 saves his first year there in Kansas City. I think he was traded pretty early in the season. Tyler Glasnow leads in ERA at 2.61. No other pitchers sub-3. Kodai Senga, Spencer Strider, who we're probably going to see in Game 1. Not looking forward to that. The reigning Cy Young Award winner. In the American League, we have Kyle Wright here of Kansas City. Another very good pitcher there in the rotation. Shane McClanahan. We see another Twins pitcher here, Marcus Stroman, with 5 shutouts at age 34. Maybe the best season he's ever had. Crazy development there. A $6.8 million deal leads the American League in shutouts. Strikeouts goes to Shane McClanahan for, I think, the 2nd straight season. Dylan Cease, who we missed out on in free agency, 2nd in the American League in strikeouts. He signed a monster deal there with the Rangers. And we had to opt for Aaron Savali instead. Although Cease, the 4.6 ERA, not that great. Spencer Strider led all of baseball with 254 strikeouts. 273 the year before that. 257, 281, 202. 5 straight seasons of over 200 strikeouts for Strider, Hunter Green, Ohtani, Paul Skeens, Blake Snell, and Yamamoto, all at 200 or better. Complete games goes to Stroman, Tyler Glasnow in the NL. Innings pitched, Shane McClanahan, Garrett Cole, Burns, Ober, Tariq Skubal up here in the National League. Alcantara, Strider, Zach Wheeler. And then we have the Dodgers three-headed monster here. Glasnow, Yamamoto, Bobby Miller. We got Max Fried. Whip goes to Sandy Alcantara, just barely edges out Miller. Dean Kramer here from Milwaukee, an all-star there, their lone representative. McClanahan, the only pitcher with a sub-1 whip. Chris Paddock, Cole, Ober, George Kirby up here. Pitching war now, we're getting towards the end. McClanahan handled this pretty well, 6.7, almost 2 points better than the next pitcher there being Corbin Burns. And in the NL, Spencer Strider going to lead in pitching war. Glasnow, and then Max Fried at number 3. We also see Casey Mize up here at 3.3. And then batting war, Corey Seager at 10.4. Judge at 10.2. And then in the National League, 8.3 there is Acuna, followed by Soto and Ozzie Albies at 8.1. And Pete Alonso is not even up here. There he is at 6.3. So those are the league leaders. Now real quick, we'll just bounce through award winners. As we do see there, Juan Soto does win the MVP award, and deservedly so. Alonso actually finishes behind Austin Riley, and that's Juan Soto's first career MVP award, if I'm not mistaken. In the American League, Corey Seager wins it after his monster season, his first MVP. Now for the Cy Young, Tyler Glasnow wins it in the NL, edging out teammate Bobby Miller and Spencer Strider, last year's Cy Young Award winner. In the American League, McClanahan wins his second in 3 years. Bailey Ober just behind him. Batting title goes to Soto. Harper and Marte also there. Alvarez wins it in the American League. Reliever of the year goes to Evan Phillips. I thought it was going to be Ken Hughes, but as I mentioned, he really fell apart there towards the end of the season, although he does finish third behind Phillips and Jose Alvarado. All 3 of these guys going to play in the postseason, along with these 3 guys, as well as Johan Duran wins it. 43 saves in 45 attempts with a sub-1 ERA. Alzaway and Bautista behind him. Rookie of the year goes to Chris Parnell of the Philadelphia Phillies. Potential at just 19 years old, so he is regressing in a lot of categories despite winning Rookie of the Year. 22 homers, 285 average, 347 OBP, a high slugging. So, in this situation, sir, I just, go ahead and, update the potential, make him like a B potential after winning Rookie of the Year, or should I just leave it like that and, kind of go with the stance that progression is not linear despite winning awards like Rookie of the Year? But I think we will just maybe stick with it as it is. But if you kind of think we should go in and manually alter his potential, or maybe even his stats, let me know, kind of as a reward of winning Rookie of the Year. In the AL, Lionel Cummings wins it, 21 years old, third baseman. Batted .309 in 317 at-bats. Very high OBP, good slugging. Not that great of a glove, but yeah, very good contact, vision, discipline, clutch type hitter. Hank Aaron Award goes to Soto, and the American League goes to Seager. No surprises there. For Gold Glove, we'll just kind of stick in the NL and see if any of our guys got it. Gabriel Moreno has won now his 4th straight Gold Glove. By the time his career is over, you might say he's gonna be as good as maybe a guy like Yadier Molina. Alvarez and Ardani Jansen behind him. First base, we had Pete Alonso win it last year, and this year it goes to an unlikely source. Although he did win a Gold Glove back in 2022, but his first season with the Marlins, Vladdy Guerrero Jr., 42 home runs, 101 RBIs, and a Gold Glove to go along with it. Brendan Rodgers for our Rockies wins his 2nd Gold Glove award, as we signed him to a nice extension last year, although his potential has dropped, but he's still seeing very good progression across the board at now 29 years old, so maybe close to hitting his peak. Good season, though, offensively for him. Matt Chapman there for the Giants wins at third base. Shortstop goes to Mookie Betts. Tovar won it last year, but his fielding percentage down a lot at just .990. And he has regressed in a few categories, but a very good fielding shortstop. Really, anything he gives you offensively is just a bonus. In the outfield, Verdugo wins it. His first season with the Nationals, he's been on 4 different teams. in the past 4 years, going from Boston, New York to Oakland, and now in Washington. Although they do have him signed for another 2 seasons. James Outman wins it, and center Nolan Jones wins it. So we have 2 Gold Glove Award winners in Brendan Rodgers and Nolan Jones. Jones a very good season offensively, career high in home runs, although I'd really like to see his RBIs go up, especially with that 98 clutch rating. Silver Slugger goes to Juan Soto. Santander came in 3rd. Francisco Alvarez, 40 home runs for Alvarez. Did not see that coming. 96 power versus righties, 84 versus lefties. 2 more years of arbitration for him. Pete Alonso wins a Silver Slugger award. His first, at least based on this award screen. Albies wins it for another back-to-back seasons. Austin Riley wins it back-to-back. Trey Turner wins it at short. Acuna has won another Silver Slugger. And he has quite the resume already at just 28 years old. Corbin Carroll wins it, and looks like Luis Robert Jr. came up just short. Castellanos for the Phillies. And that's going to do it for award winners as well. So I don't think there was really anything else I wanted to look at for this episode. I mean, I guess we could go through our statistics, but you kind of get the gist of how some of our players performed. We already saw Nolan Jones, 32 home runs, a 283 batting average, 547 slugging. He sets a new career high. I guess we'll look at the player stats screen real quick, not to overdo it, but these are kind of necessary things to look at. So we had no 300 hitters this year. Alonso, Santander, Nolan Jones really slipped. He was over 300 maybe soon after the All-Star break, but finished at 283. Rodgers, 277, a little bit better than last season, and for the first time went over 20 home runs. Nick Senzel, we really missed him. He was dominant against lefties, slugging .498 at the time of his injury, where he fractured his wrist. And I don't think we'll really get him unless we make it to maybe the NLCS. But that might be a bit presumptuous. Looks like Tovar finished the season strong with that flame. He'll end at 250 batting average. His, I was going to say career high, but no, his rookie season was a career high. But that's the best he's done so far in this franchise, along with OBP as well. Luis Robert Jr. really struggled down the stretch, average at 248. McMahon finishes cold, along with Yanquiel Fernandez and our backup catcher, Jose Trevino. OBP Alonso at 380, Jones at 347, Santander 343, slugging, Alonso at 600. Robert Jr. a bunch of strikeouts along with Santander, both of them over 160, McMahon a lot, Tovar a lot. 40 doubles for Jones led the team, 6 triples for Tovar and Jones. 14 double plays there for Robert, 13 for Rodgers. Fielding percentage, Jones 1,000%, Danny Jansen just missing the 1,000% mark. WAR goes to Alonso, Jones at 5.9, not too far behind. Robert Jr. 4.8, Rodgers 4.4. Walk rate, Alonso, McMahon, Jansen led the way. Rivas, a lot of strikeouts along with McMahon, Tovar, Robert Jr. Walks per 9, Alonso, Trevino up there at .60. Senzel, good walks per 9. Isolated power, Alonso, Robert Jr., 2 of our home run derby representatives. And of course, you would expect Santander and Jones to be up here as well. That's going to do it with stats, though. We'll take a look at the Atlanta Braves to end this episode, and then we'll pick up next time with Game 1 of the Wild Card Round. I believe we'll have Max Fried against Spencer Strider. So a first look here, of course, we're going to have to go up against Ronald Acuna Jr., maybe the most talented player in all of baseball. 41 home run season, batted over 313, another OPS season over 1,000. That for the 3rd time in his career. Looks like Ozzie Albies, though, is going to be gone, a Silver Slugger Award winner. And he's had the best season offensively of his career so far. Lucky break, though, we won't have to deal with it. But looking at the rotation, Spencer Strider, last year's Cy Young Award winner, one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball. And I think we'll be lucky if he strikes out less than 10 guys. Jose Urquidy, his 2nd season with the Braves, has racked up a 27-15 record, although the number's not as good this year with a 4.49 ERA. They're in a contract year. Ronaldo Lopez went 10-9, decent numbers. I mean, the rotation, not anything special here for the Braves. I feel like they're a team who kind of rely on run support unless Spencer Strider is on the bump. Although the bullpen looks to be a little bit better. Jojo Romero at 84 overall. A good lefty. Another good lefty here in Matt Strahm. Comes over from Philly. 84 innings, 2.36 ERA, a .98 whip. He's going to eat some innings. So two very good lefties here. Dylan Lee, another lefty. Pierce Johnson, Joe Jimenez, both 3.5 ERAs. But Ryan Helsley is the closer. They signed him to a hefty contract this past offseason. Only blew 3 saves. So if he gets out there in a save situation, you're probably not going to win the baseball game. But pitching overall for Atlanta, not a huge strength, but they have a very good closer, some good lefties, and Spencer Strider, probably the best starter here in the National League. At catcher, they have a few guys here. JT Realmuto, just 59 at-bats, signed a $7 million contract, but barely played. But he did mash. Very good power there against lefties. That's probably really all they'll use him for, maybe in a back pinch hit situation. Samuel Basallo they got from Baltimore in a trade. I forget who they sent over there. But Sean Murphy is the starting catcher. 31 years old, still signed for another 3 seasons. The production very down this year. Just 198 batting average, slugging at 342, and that OPS just barely over 600. But he brings a pretty solid glove, a strong arm there. And he can get hot with the bat, but a very poor regular season. At first, here's Matt Olson, one of the best at the position. 99 power versus righties. A good glove there. Back-to-back 40 home run seasons. Batted .295 this past year, which set a new career high. Ozzie Albies not going to play, so it looks like the second baseman is going to be Vidal Brujan. 219 at-bats, batted .260. A change of scenery here in Atlanta. The past 2 seasons more in a reserve role, as he plays a pretty decent glove in pretty much every position. Austin Riley at third base bidded for a MVP award, so we'll have Riley versus Alonso in this series. The top 2 players who missed out on the MVP, as it did go to Juan Soto. But a 50 home run season for Riley, slugged .588. Decent glove there at third, but going to bring immense pop, whether you have a righty or a lefty on the mound. So between Acuna Jr., Matt Olson, and Austin Riley, 3 very good hitters. Orlando Arcia, very good against lefties. A good glove there at short, although he is regressing a little bit. And a contract year, about at .245, slugging at .358. Not a huge threat unless a lefty is on the mound, so we'll probably see him in Game 1 against Max Fried. In the outfield to have Kyle Schwarber. He, like Realmuto and Matt Strahm, come over from Philly. 581 at-bats, 34 home runs. Slugged very well, as you would expect, although really only going to be out there against righties in a DH capacity. You do not want him on the field, so I don't know if we'll see Schwarber in Game 1 there against Max Fried. Jared Kelenic had a bunch of playing time this year, the most at-bats he's had in a season. Looks like he's kind of, cementing himself as an everyday type player with a strong arm, good fielding, and the bat coming around a little bit. Michael Harris II, of course, we'll see him patrolling center field. Very good contact guy, very good fielding, fielding, arm, and speed. Decent season at the plate. And then we see Ronald Acuna Jr. here at right, who is probably going to tear us up, I would expect. But this is where I'm going to leave you, folks. Thank you so much for watching. It was, just an episode to wrap up this year 3 season and kind of set things up for the next episode, where we'll have a Game 1 in the playoffs of this Rockies rebuild franchise. It was kind of tough going in year 1, year 2, but this year 3 season has been very fun, although we did kind of sputter there towards the end of the season. But hopefully we can pick it up in this 3-game set against the Braves and advance to the National League Division round next time out. But as always, everybody, it's been real and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.